What up, world? 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 It's your main man. I am DJ Double Dose, man, and we are coming to you once again with another episode of Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. We are back up in the building, man. Listen, man, I just want to say we haven't taken a break. We just have done, for those of you that have followed the channel and followed the show, follow me on Facebook, because I'm telling you, when I hit that live button, you never know when I'm going to hit it. So back-to-back weeks, we've had 2 lives back-to-back, man. I appreciate all the love, all the support, all the jokes, all the comments, man. And we don't know if it's going to be something we do every Saturday, but when shit goes down like what happened last Saturday, man, we got to hit that button, man. So in case you was under a rock somewhere last week, we're going to give you a brief recap, and then we're going to go ahead and get into what we got going on this week, man. Listen. We've said this time and time again. College football never sleeps. There's never a dull weekend. Even right now, when you look at week 3, it's not a lot of it's not a lot of games that's just going to catch your eye. Catch your eye. But just as we saw last week, what did we see? We saw Auburn. What's up, War Eagle? How y'all doing, man? I just want to know, like, how y'all let the nerd school from Cali, Cal Berkeley, if I'm not mistaken, there was a 14-point dog coming to your house and fucking dominate. Because let's be clear, they whooped y'all ass. Hate to say this to you, Auburn fans, they whooped y'all ass to the tune of 4 turnovers. And here's the kicker, in case you didn't know, they was down a couple of their better receivers. They was down 1 or 2 of their line. So they wasn't even at full strength. And y'all let them walk into y'all house and do, but that was one part of the day of people who went down that weren't supposed to. The second part of the day, hey, Lucky Charm ass fighting Irish. That is 2. You know what? I like Freeman. But I'm going to tell you something, Freeman. That loss right there, it ain't going to happen this year. It ain't going to happen this year. And it probably won't happen next year. But back-to-back season losing to people at home you ain't got no business losing to. Last year was Marshall. And I ain't talking about Randy Moss's Marshall, because he wasn't there. This year it was NIU, the Huskies. Now let's just talk about that for one brief moment. Notre Dame, let me get straight up. Notre Dame, I'm gonna look right into the camera when I say this. Your playoff hopes are done. And I know, per the polls, they still got y'all ranked. Where they got y'all at? They still got y'all number 18 in the AP poll and number 19 in the coaches poll. I don't give a damn what that damn poll say. You lost to NIU at home. That Texas A&M team you beat probably ain't as good as what people think they're going to be. So I don't even know if that's going to be a quality win. And we all see where my beloved nose are. So there ain't going to be no quality win either if you pull it off. Your best hope is that USC somehow manages to be in a position to be going to the Big Ten title game. And when y'all face them, if y'all was to happen to win, that'll be your signature win. But for all intents and purposes, Notre Dame, thank you for playing your ass. Take your ass home. Because that was embarrassing. Like that, I mean, on all levels. Then to make matters worse, it was a low-scoring, ugly-ass game, too. It wasn't like this was some crazy shootout. By the way, people, in case you didn't know, Riley Leonard still ain't threw a touchdown pass in 2 games. He still ain't threw a touchdown pass. So, Fighting Irish, listen, man, this is twice. Freeman, I think you a good coach. You a damn good recruiter. But the way it's looking right now, my brother, Marshall, now NIU, back-to-back years, I don't see how the committee could even justify sending y'all to the playoffs. Look, we've seen stranger things, so I will not sit on this show and tell you what the committee will and will not do, because as we know, they got a mind of their own. But losing to NIU at home, that should automatically get you on up out of there. But it didn't stop, because we thought we was going to have a ring the alarm moment with Alabama. Let's be clear, Bama fans. I want you to hear me and hear me well. Those of you who didn't watch the whole game and you just box watched, meaning you woke up the next day, you looked at the stats, meaning you was probably watching another game. Hey, you might was out and about, whatever the case may be, and then you saw the final score and you were like, Bama took care of business. Bama did not take care of business. That was awful. That was awful. If that boy had any, I think his name was Brown from USF. If he had any arm talent, and y'all can disagree with me all you want. You watched the game. Those of you that watched it from beginning to end, that boy was missing reads all day long, and it had absolutely nothing to do with your defense. He sucked. Well, you know what? He was an inaccurate quarterback. Okay, very inaccurate. Had he just been an average quarterback, that would have been y'all ass. Now, again, I have zero. We'll talk about this in just, we'll hold that. So, Bama survived. And hey, for all intents and purposes, hey, look, 2-0 is 2-0. There are teams, my team included, that is 0-2. There are teams that are 0-1 now. So forth. So whatever the case may be, you got teams that don't have a win right now. Okay. So who am I to say anything about a team that's 2-0? It is what it is. But the truth of the matter is, yeah, that final score showed one thing, but that is not indicative of how that game looked. And I hear the whole comments about, our right tackle was. You can't have it both ways, people. You can't say that you have all these top 5 recruiting classes and you have all this depth, and then when you lose a starter playing against an inferior opponent, start crying about, man, we didn't have our starter in there. Pick a struggle. Pick a motherfucking struggle. Like, because on one end, you around here, you know what I'm saying, about your recruiting class, you playing a set. Case in point, you bragging about the 17-year-old that you got playing at wide receiver right now, ain't you? Ain't you? You bragging about him, but you want to cry about depth behind your right tackle. This wasn't Georgia you faced yet. This wasn't even an SEC opponent. This was South Florida. Whomever that y'all put in there, insert whomever he was that was getting toe out the frame, I guarantee you South Florida would take him and start him. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. So, and before we leave from Alpha last week and move on to the next, hats off to Sark in Texas, because look, a lot of people thought that for whatever reason, Texas was a fluke last year. Sark building that thing from the ground up. Does he have some portal guys? Yes, he does. Does he have some guys he recruited? Yeah, he has a great blend of the two. He has a great blend of the two. And they went up there to Michigan and they went up to Auburn and they beat the brakes. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it was. It was a straight ass whooping, beat down, jump, whatever you want to call it. That's what it was. That is what it was, man. There was no way around it. They whooped Michigan ass from beginning until they decided, hey, we good until the end. Michigan, look, y'all built your offense, or Guess y'all thought Orji was it. Clearly, he's not. The backup guy, the guy that y'all got at quarterback right now. I don't know what Michigan's going to do. Now, on the flip side, however, how many teams in the Big Ten that they're going to face that's going to do that to them what Texas did to them? Not many. So for those that think that the ship is falling and all of a sudden Michigan finna fall off the map, pump brakes, pump your brakes, pump brakes. That game with Texas, for all intents and purposes, does not count. It doesn't. I know people want to say, oh, it does not, especially now. Game doesn't count. It was a good game. We got to talk about it. It was great, but the game doesn't count in the grand scheme of things. Michigan still has everything in front of them. Their season still revolves around what it has been revolving around for the last few years. Can they get through the Big Ten, win the Big Ten? And as we know, the Big Ten winner, no matter what the hell your record is, if you make it to the Big Ten title game and you win the Big Ten, you will be in the playoff. So, as far as Michigan fans goes, hey, it was an ass whooping. Yeah, it sucks. The media talking about you. But at the end of the day, do good. Do good. If you can fix some things, tweak some things, and go through the Big Ten and handle your business. Now, I don't know how likely that is, because if we go and we take a little peek, if we go and we take a little sneaky peek at the rest of your schedule, you got Arkansas coming up this week, USC, that might be your first slip up. USC, you got Minnesota, should be a W. Washington, should be a W. Illinois, should be a W. Michigan State, should be a W. Here's your other one. They didn't do y'all no favors. They gave you Oregon. Well, they didn't look that great, so that could be something different that we're talking about, and that's all the way in November. Then you got Indiana, Northwestern, and of course you close it out with Ohio State. So, I mean, is it likely that you make it to the Big Ten title game? I don't know. I mean, like, as we know, man, it's a long season. It's a long season. Injuries. I mean, look, things can happen. So, look, they could get it together. They could figure it out and they could get it together. So, all is not lost for Michigan. So, as we close the page or close the door, and baby, let me turn the page on to week 3. As we go on to week 3, look, man, I just want to say, because I've heard everybody, we're going to talk about this just for 2 seconds and I'm done. Listen, FSU had a bye. They face Memphis this week. We don't know what the hell Mike is going to do. Everybody knows my opinion about it. Listen, it's a work in progress. I hope that he plays both quarterbacks. That's my personal opinion. It's Memphis. If I was the coach, what I would do is I would let DJU start in the first quarter. I would let Brock start in the second quarter. Whomever looks the better of the two, whether you're going by numbers or just your straight up eye test, that's who I would let play the second half, and that's how we would go from there. But that's just me. Don't know what Mike is going to do. It's 11 o'clock kick. We're going to find out real early how that's going to go. We shall see. That's my little spiel on FSU. Now, what did we see, or what did we see from week 2 that we're going to discuss going into week 3 is, hey, man, Florida. Come here, Florida. You come here. Look like you done got you a little something, man. Like you cooking with gas, man. With old DJ Langway there, huh? Look like you cooking with gas, man. Although that was Sanford right here at the crib. Although that was Sanford, Florida did look good. Offensively, they look good. This game has gone from, because after what we've seen from Texas A&M in 2 weeks, now, here's the thing. Texas A&M defense is still grown. Don't get that misconstrued. The defense is still grown, but the offense, and they got to go to the swamp. 2:30 kick. All I'm saying is, I don't think Florida wins this game, but this game is now winnable. Whereas when we first talked about Florida's schedule in the offseason and we talked about it, I didn't think that this was a game that they could win. Now, I don't think they will, but the game is winnable. And that is what happens when you that is what happens when you recruit a great quarterback and he gets this opportunity and he balls. Although, regardless of the opponent, doesn't matter. Does not matter. Regardless of the opponent. Langway still lag. It's either Langway or Lagway. If I'm screwing up a name, somebody in the comments, please let me know. We'll just, you know what, he's another DJ. There we go. So we call him DJ. When you have a quarterback that is as advertised, you know, going off what his stars was coming out of high school, that is as advertised. And then when they come in, like I said, regardless of if it was a lesser opponent or not, you still have to go out there and you still have to execute. So when you have a guy that comes in and he handles his business, it gives a certain energy to the team. It gives a certain energy to what's going on. So I would just say, man, Florida, listen, man, hey, you look like you got you one. Look like you got you one. Now, your plan is going to be, can you hold on to him? Because we all know Bill ain't making it through the season. Because good as Langway, whatever you want to call it is, he ain't 6-7 wins good. I don't see that. I don't see that. I still don't see 6 wins on that schedule. I just because the defense still is what it is, because you still was against Sanford and you didn't cover. And I know you probably want to say what gambling got to do with it. End of the day, you still didn't cover. And that's not a great Sanford team. So as good as Lagway look, he don't play both sides of the ball. And the fact that he's a true freshman, you know turnovers are bound to happen at some point, whether they happen at the right or the wrong time, they are bound to happen. So is he 6-7 wins good in his as he's learning everything throughout the process? I don't know. I could be wrong. I could very much well be wrong, but I don't think he is. So I don't think that that's going to save Billy's job. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Because, I mean, again, if you want to go back and look at it real quick, hey, they got Texas A&M. It's a winnable game. Now it's winnable. Mississippi State, as bad as they look, that's definitely winnable. UCF, hey, that has become a coin flip. Tennessee lost. So we got Sanford 1. If you manage, I don't think you will, but if you manage to pull out Texas A&M, Mississippi State, that's 3. Got one Sanford, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, that's 3. UCF is a toss-up. It's a coin flip. Could pull that off. That's 4. Kentucky don't look good. That's 5. After that, you got a long way to go to get that number 6. Now, again, somebody could say, man, FSU don't look like shit. We don't know what FSU look like, but that's a long stretch out to Kentucky. That's Georgia. That's November. Y'all already know. We ain't got to rehash it. Y'all already know. So it's more doable to get 6 wins this year. I still don't think it happens, but it's more doable now. Because if Lagway continues to play the way he's playing, there's a possibility that you could squeeze it out. So what are we looking forward to going into week 3? I'm interested in the one thing I'm more interested in than all is I'm definitely interested in what happens with Bama and Wisconsin, because I don't think, look, I know people are going to look at the Bama game and they're going to form their opinions, but USF did some things on defense that had them in the game. Now, granted, somebody going to bust out and say, well, they had 3 fumbles, but whatever. At the end of the day, even without the fumbles, up until the last 5-6 minutes, you weren't doing much on offense. So I don't know what Wisconsin is going to do, but I know that Wisconsin has more capable athletes, maybe not the same amount of speed, because at the end of the day, those guys at South Florida, hey, a lot of them are still kids from Florida. So we already know the answer to that. But Wisconsin will be able to take some things from what they saw and see if they can replicate it, to see if it will confuse Miro, to see if they can do whatever they do. Now, the problem where the rubber's gonna meet the road is I have zero faith in Tyler Van Pick. So I don't have any faith in Tyler Van Dyke. So since I don't have any faith in Tyler Van Dyke, it's gonna be kind of hard for me to have faith in Wisconsin pulling this off. Now, do I think it's gonna probably be an ugly game? Yeah, probably so. It'll probably be something ugly. I can see Bama pulling this out somewhere in the 20s, maybe 28, 20, 28-17, 28-18, some weird number. I could see it being something like that, 27, 21 or some weird number like that. So outside of that, you can laugh. I mean, you got FSU in Memphis. Can FSU finally get their victory? We shall see. Beyond that, you got a weird matchup with Boston College and Missouri. That's actually a top 25 matchup. Go figure. We already mentioned Florida and Texas A&M. And interesting enough, you know something? Because all eyes will always be on Boulder, I want to see how Colorado responds. I do. I want to see how oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Timeout. Research department. Yeah, those. Edit that out. All right, cool. I got you, bro. We're going to edit out that if the game is not in Boulder. Forgot they played them in Boulder last year. This game is in Colorado State. And as you know, this was the game that Travis Hunter got hurt in. The coach was on one. It was real chippy. I mean, it was a game that came down to the wire, and there's a lot. And the way that they looked against Nebraska last week, again, speak on games that don't count. Say what you want to say. That game against Nebraska, it counts in the scope, in the record. But as far as what their goals are, that game doesn't mean shit. Their goals is to win the Big 12. Losing to Nebraska doesn't stop that at all. So I'm curious to see how Colorado bounces back. And more so, I know they're going to win. Well, I feel like they're going to win a game with no problem. I just want to see how they look. I mean, because a lot of times how a team looks, because against North Dakota State, they looked good. Like they didn't fuck around. I'll say it again. They didn't fuck around. And it was a Shedeur and Travis show when it was on display heavily. So I want to see, I'm interested to see how they bounce back against Colorado State. My eyes will be glued to that. Also, my newfound drinking partners, Auburn. Let's not go down memory lane. Just saying, you got New Mexico this week. I'm interested to see how you bounce back as well. Yeah, I'm just curious. Though, like I said, this kind of like a light week, but again, it's never a real light week, but this kind of is a light week. And just a little house cleaning, man. Always just remember, man, look, no matter who your team is, we said it in the summer, and we're going to continue to say it. Nobody's going to go undefeated this year. I hate to break that to y'all for those of you who feel like, man, no, my team going to do it. Outside of maybe Ohio State, and I'm going to say maybe on that, anybody going undefeated. Even Georgia's not, newsflash people, Georgia's not going undefeated this year. They're not. We've broken down that schedule. We've talked about it on multiple occasions. Georgia looks good, but Georgia's not going to go they're not going to go unscathed this year. And if they do, whoo. But I don't see it. So don't get too high. Don't get too low. Always remember, and before I go, man, I would be remiss unless I said it, man. Before I go, make sure that you download the Post Network. It's on the Roku channel, on the Roku app. Make sure you download the Post Network, man. We got a lot of things that we got moving around, man. We got a lot of things we moving and grooving, man. We got a lot of shows, a lot of variety for a lot of different people, man. So make sure you stay locked in on that, man. And also, man, look, like I told you before, man, this is more than just a sports show. Show for the culture. Hey, man. Those of us that grew up like I grew up, Frankie Beverly and Mays meant something to you, man. Frankie Beverly and Mays meant something to you, man. Even when we were younger, when all our families we would have our get-togethers. You were always gonna hear Before I Let Go. You were always gonna hear after. Listen, my favorite song will forever be After the Morning After night. I might mess it up, but there will always be near and dear in my heart, man. And that group did so much for our community, man. The one thing I can say is universal. I've been DJing for well over a decade, man. And there's never been a gig that I've done that I couldn't drop anything for Frankie Beverly and Mays and not get the response that I needed to get. So hats off, to Frankie Beverly and Mays. Well, hats off to Frankie Beverly. Forever rest in paradise, man. It's hard for me to say because, as far as music goes, one of the people I listen to a lot. One of the old school people that I did listen to a lot, man. And wake up and hear that news, it kind of hit me a little bit. I had to call my mom this morning. And she was just like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, Mom, they talking about on the radio. He passed away." So just hats off to Frankie Beverly, man. Your music is timeless. It will forever live. It has forever lived, and your legacy will continue to live through my kids. My children know about Frankie Beverly and Mays. So your music will continue to reign, man. And just hats off, man. And it's been a somber week. We also lost James Earl Jones this week, man. Oh, you all know, everybody knows who James Earl Jones is, man. The voice, distinctive voice. You will always know him. Actor. And the things that he did on the screen, man, what I want you to take from this part, I know it's not a downer. It's not a downer, but, and also Rich Homie Quan. But I want you to take from this is the reason why I end my show the same way each and every week. I hope that you don't ever tune out without hearing me say it. So if you want to listen to me say it one more time, this time on this week right here, we're gonna do a moment of silence. Live, laugh, and love, man. Live your life to the fullest. Love on the people that love you back. Find you something to laugh at each and every day. And I'm out.